Hello everyone, welcome to the part 5 video of chapter 6. In the part 4 video, we have derived an expression for self-inductance of a solenoid, the magnetic energy stored in the solenoid, and also mutual inductance of two concentric circular rings. Now in this video, we will be deriving an expression for mutual inductance of two coaxial solenoids, and also we will discuss about the generator. Now let us start the first topic for today, and the topic is to find the mutual inductance of two long coaxial solenoids. So to derive the mutual inductance, we consider a diagram where this S1 is the inner solenoid of radius R1 and S2 is the coaxial outer solenoid with radius R2. And both the inner solenoid and the outer solenoid, they are of same length, represented by small l. And this inner solenoid has many number of turns, let's say N1, and the outer solenoid has N2 number of turns. So what we are going to do here is, we first pass the current through the outer solenoid. So when we pass the current through the outer solenoid, then it will produce the magnetic field. This inner solenoid is in the magnetic field produced by the outer solenoid. If there is any change in magnetic flux linked with the solenoid S1, which is the inner solenoid, then the current will be induced in the solenoid S1. And similarly, if the current is passed through the inner solenoid S1, then it will produce the magnetic field. And if that magnetic field linked with the outer coil changes with time, then in the outer coil, the current will be induced due to the change of flux. So this is all about the diagram. Now let us start the derivation. So first thing that we are going to hear is, we describe the different parameters that is to be used in order to derive the expression for mutual inductance of two long coaxial solenoids. So here, let this L be the length of each solenoid. Small n1 and small n2 are the number of turns per unit length of smaller and the bigger solenoid. Then, the total number of turns represented by capital N1 in the smaller solenoid is given by number of turns per unit length into length of the solenoid. Then similarly, total number of turns of the outer solenoid equals to small n2 into length of the solenoid. So here, this capital N represents the number of turns. This small n represents the number of turns per unit length. So let this be equation number 1 that we have to use later on. And again, let R1 and R2 be the radius of smaller and the bigger solenoid. Now the first thing that we are going to do here is, we pass the current through the outer solenoid. So let I2 be the current flowing through the outer solenoid, and it produces a magnetic field, that be represented by B2. And as we know that the expression for the magnetic field produced due to the solenoid is given by B equals to mu naught Ni. So here we slightly modify the notation and write B2, which is the magnetic field produced by the outer solenoid, equals to mu naught into N2 is the number of turns per unit length of the outer solenoid into I2. So I2 is the current flowing through the outer solenoid. So let this be equation number 2. Now as the magnetic field is produced by the outer solenoid, that magnetic field will pass to the inner solenoid also. So now we will be calculating the magnetic flux linked with the smaller solenoid. The magnetic flux linked with the smaller solenoid is given by magnetic flux equals to magnetic field into area. So here notation is modified as phi1 is the magnetic flux passing through the smaller solenoid, which equals to magnetic field is due to the bigger solenoid, so we write B2, and A1 is the cross-sectional area of the smaller solenoid. So this area, we call it cross-sectional area of the smaller solenoid. Then here we slightly modify the expression. We multiply both sides by N1, and this is the expression after multiplying with N1 both sides. This is our previous equation. Now in this equation, we replace this capital N1 and capital B2 using our previous equation 1 and 2. And this capital A1 is the cross-sectional area of small solenoid, which is circular in shape, and area of the circle is pi r square. So here we write A1 as pi r1 square, because r1 is the radius of smaller solenoid. Then this equation will get modified as capital N1 phi1 equals to small n1 L mu naught small n2 L2 pi r1 square. Now here we rearrange and we can rewrite as mu naught small n1 small n2 pi r1 square L into I2. Now here we replace this mu naught small n1 small n2 pi r1 square L by m12, and this I2 here, where m12 is mu naught n1 n2 pi r1 square L. Similarly, if we pass the current through the smaller solenoid and calculate the mutual inductance given by M21, then we will get the same expression as we have got for M12. So which is mu naught small n1 small n2 pi r1 square L. So from the expression for M12 and M21, we came to know that they are equal, and let's say represented by capital M. And this capital M here is mu naught n1 n2 pi r1 square into L. So this is the expression for mutual inductance of two long coaxial solenoid. Now again, the expression for the EMF induced in the smaller solenoid due to the current passing through the bigger solenoid is given by E1 equals to minus M into di2 by dt. So this E1 is the EMF induced in the smaller coil due to the rate of change of current I2 in the outer coil, and this M is the mutual inductance. The magnitude of the EMF induced depends upon the rate of change of current and the mutual inductance of the two coils. In this case, how much EMF will be induced in the smaller coil is fully dependent on the rate of change of current in the outer coil and also the mutual inductance. Now let us move to the next topic, AC generator. Till now, we have gained much more knowledge about the electromagnetic induction, where the current is induced by changing the magnetic flux linked with the coil. So one of the most important applications of this electromagnetic induction is in AC generator. So this AC generator is a device which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. So this AC generator is used in different power plant like hydropower plant, thermal power plant, nuclear power plant, etc., where the electricity is generated by converting mechanical energy into electrical energy. So now let us discuss about the basic structure of the AC generator. Here in the diagram, this is a rectangular coil and it is rotated about the axis in a clockwise direction, and this coil is placed in a uniform magnetic field which is produced by placing the North Pole and South Pole nearby, As this coil is placed in a uniform magnetic field, and when it gets rotated, then during rotation, the magnetic flux linked with the coil will change, due to which the current will be induced in the coil, and that current will be given path, and we get alternating current. Now about the AC generator, we discuss topic wise. So first is the working principle of generator. AC generator is based on the principle of electromagnetic induction. It states that whenever the magnetic flux linked with the coil changes, an EMF is induced in the coil. So this I have already explained just before. So here this coil is to be rotated, and the magnetic flux linked with the coil during rotation will change, and the EMF will be induced in the coil. Now we have to find the expression for the EMF induced in the coil. When the coil is rotated with the constant angular speed omega, the angle theta between the magnetic field B and the area vector A of the coil at any instant is given by theta equals to omega t. So this magnetic field is directed from north pole to south pole, from left to right, and this area vector means a vector which is normal to the plane of this coil. In this position of the coil, the area vector which is normal to this plane will be vertically upward, so in this direction, so that it makes an angle 90 degree with the magnetic field. So here it is. So this arrow gives the direction of the magnetic field, and this is the coil, and area vector is directed vertically upward. It makes an angle 90 degree with the magnetic field. Now during the rotation of this coil, the orientation of the coil will change, and if it is the position of the coil, then the area vector normal to this plane is directed in this way, and it makes an angle which is less than 90 degree with the magnetic field. So this is the theta. When the coil rotates, then the magnetic flux linked with the coil will change with time. And as we know that the magnetic flux expression is given by dot product of magnetic field and area. So here we write as phi b equals to dot product of magnetic field and area. After simplification and replacing this theta by omega t, we get BA cos omega t. So let this be equation number 1. Now due to the change in magnetic flux linked with the coil, an EMF will be induced, and if that coil has n number of turns, then the expression for the EMF is given by E equals to minus n into d phi b by dt. So this is the rate of change of flux. And replacing the expression for of phi b from equation number 1 here, we can write minus nba differentiation of cos omega t. EMF equals to nba omega sin omega t. So here we have used this formula. Differentiation of cos nx equals to minus n sin nx. So this minus and this minus will get cancelled, and it will be plus nba omega sin omega t. So this we can modify and rewrite as E equals to E naught sin omega t, where this E naught represents nba omega. So this E naught is the maximum EMF induced in the coil. So this is the expression for the EMF induced in the coil of generator. Now we will discuss about how the value of EMF changes during one complete rotation of coil. So we have the expression for EMF equals to E equals to E naught sin omega t, where theta equals to omega t. Now here we write the expression for EMF for different value of theta, that is for 0 degree, 90 degree, 180 degree, 270 degree and 360 degree. So when theta is 0 here, then sine 0 is 0. So EMF induced will be 0. So for theta equals to 0 degree, EMF is 0. So when theta equals to 90 degree, then sine 90 degree is 1. So that we will get E equals to E naught, which is the maximum EMF in the positive side. And when theta equals to 180 degree, sine 180 degree is 0. Again, EMF will be here 0. Now when theta equals to 270 degree, sine 270 degree is minus 1. So that we will get EMF equals to minus E naught. This is the maximum EMF in the negative side. And when theta equals to 360 degree, then sine 360 degree is 0. And here we also will get EMF 0. So now we try to compare here. So this is the position where the theta is 0 degree, because the coil is at 90 degree with respect to the magnetic field, but the area vector of the coil is directed along the direction of the magnetic field, so that the angle is 0 between the magnetic field and the area vector. So EMF induced will be 0. So in this position, the area vector is directly upward, so it makes an angle 90 degree. So for 90 degree, the EMF is maximum on the positive side. So this is the maximum EMF when theta equals to 90 degree. And similarly, when theta equals to 180 degree, in this position, the EMF will be 0. And when theta equals to 270 degree in this position, then the EMF will be maximum in the negative side. So this is the maximum value of EMF in the negative side. And again, when theta equals to 360 degree, that is one complete rotation, then also EMF will be 0. So from this diagram, we can see that EMF increases in the positive side, becomes 0, and again increases in the negative side, and again it becomes 0. So due to this reason, amplitude of the EMF varies with time, and we call it alternating EMF. Now from this section, there are two important graphs. The first graph is the variation of magnetic flux with time. The expression for the magnetic flux is NBA cos omega t. So from this expression, we can plot the graph. When theta equals to 0 degree, flux is maximum. So here it starts from the maximum value and it will decrease. And when theta equals to 90 degree, it will be 0. And similarly, it goes on for 180 degree, 270, 360, etc. And the second graph is the variation of EMF induced with time. And the expression for the EMF is given by E equals to E naught sine omega t. So this graph I have already explained just before. So which looks like this. EMF is plotted along y-axis and theta along the x-axis. So when theta equals to 0, EMF is 0. When theta equals to 90 degree, EMF is maximum on the positive side. And when theta equals to 180 degree, EMF is 0. And similarly it goes.